University Television Studio, this is Xavier News. Your campus, your region, your world. This is Xavier News.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today is March 1st. My name is Drew Collins.
And my name is Owen Gorsuch. Welcome back to Xavier News.
Today marks the beginning of spring break. Whether you're traveling far or staying local, be sure to have fun and get some rest, Musketeers.
Sweden has become the 32nd country to join NATO, the Intergovernmental Military Alliance. They now follow Finland, who joined last year. Both are believed to have applied due to their proximity to Russia as their invasion of Ukraine continues.
Kroger's planned purchase of rival food distributor Albertsons has been blocked by the FTC. The proposed merger raised concerns about limiting competition in the market that would lead to higher food prices. Both Kroger and Albertsons are looking to litigate this action in court.
Social media content could be on the verge of change. This past Monday, a case between two tech industry groups, NetChoice and the Computer and Communications Industry Association, and the states of Florida and Texas, was brought to the Supreme Court. The tech companies sued to prevent laws in both states that prohibit technology companies from taking down political content from taking effect. The laws being a reaction to Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube blowing former President Donald Trump as a result of the January 6, 2021 riots at the Capitol. According to the New York Times, the companies argued that the companies have the right to make decisions about their own platforms under the First Amendment. The decision of the case will determine the amount of influence the government can have in how and what stays on your social media feed, in which content that would have been taken down for violating the standards of a social media platform can be allowed, or political content can have stronger bans.
Tomorrow, the first race of the 2024 Formula One World Championship will take place in Bahrain. This season, Max Verstappen looks to secure his fourth consecutive World Championship, while Lewis Hamilton looks to equal Michael Schumacher's record of 7 World Championships after a shocking announcement to move from Ferrari from Mercedes.
This past Sunday, Liverpool defeated Chelsea 1-0 to win the League Cup in dramatic fashion. A heroic header in the 118th minute from captain Virgil van Dijk led to Liverpool raising the Carabao Cup. This is Liverpool's 10th League Cup and its first in 2 years.
Have you wanted to know more about some of the objects of the beauty here on campus? Here's Nicole Nance with some answers.
As you walk to classes, do you ever wonder to yourself, what do those statues mean?
So each of the statues at Xavier has its own history and background. Xavier actually has had statues on campus going back all the way to the early 1900s. Our first statues on campus have to do a lot with our Jesuit heritage, and it's our mascot, the Musketeer. So some of the first statues on campus, one was the statue of St. Francis Xavier, Xavier's namesake, and it was found down on Victory Parkway in front of Hinkle Hall. And the statue has since been replaced by another statue of St. Francis Xavier that was put there in the 1980s. That particular sculpture or statue was actually designed by Bernard Schmidt, a professor in the art department at Xavier at the time, and was donated by a couple of classes of graduates from Xavier. So Xavier's concept of our campus is that we are actually a university in a park. So for instance, our sidewalks are not made of concrete. They're made of brick pavers, as though it's a park. We have park lamps. Instead of street lamps that might overhang a street, we actually have park lamps. We have park benches throughout campus. We have lots of various park-like nooks and crannies and areas of reflection across campus. My personal favorite statue on campus is actually a sculpture, not a particular statue, and that is what folks often refer to as the Scales of Justice. The name of the sculpture actually is Quo Vadis, which in Latin means, where are you going? And this question really is a spiritual question, not a GPS or a geographic question. So it's not where are you going, like am I going to the library or to the Gallagher Student Center, but it's a question of one's life and one's values. Where am I going in life? What do I want? What am I holding in balance in my life? And is my life in balance? And if it's not in balance, What would bring it back into balance? Xavier has always been really committed to having a beautiful campus and having these statues and these sculptures across campus to inspire students, faculty, and staff, and visitors who come to campus. So I imagine as the campus continues to grow and change, as it has for almost 200 years in various locations, that our campus will continue to grow with other statues and objects of beauty that will continue to inspire generations of students to come. If folks want to learn more about these statues and other sculptures and buildings and objects of beauty on campus, they can visit the Xavier Center for Mission Identity webpage at xavier.edu/mission-identity.
The Screen Actors Guild Awards took place last weekend, which recognized the outstanding performances we have seen in movies and TV all last year. Oppenheimer took home awards for Best Male Lead and Male Supporting Roles with both Cillian Murphy and Robert Downey Jr., as well as Outstanding Performance by a Cast. The Hulu series The Bear earned both the male and female awards for Best Performance in a Comedy Series, thanks to both Jeremy Allen White and Ayo Edebiri, and Best Performance by an Ensemble in a Comedy Series. Other awards include both Stephen Yeun and Ali Wong winning Best Male and Female TV Performances for the Netflix series Beef, Pedro Pascal earning Best Male Drama Performance for The Last of Us, and Best Stunt Ensemble Performances for both Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 and The Last of Us.
Speaking of shows and movies, this past and upcoming weekend are full of releases for you to watch this spring break. Last weekend, the brand new live-action adaptation of the fan-favorite animated show Avatar: The Last Airbender was released on Netflix. Speaking of animation, the brand new Demon Slayer movie released last week in the U.S. theaters. Looking to the future, the highly anticipated Dune Part 2 comes out today with the same star-studded cast of the first movie, plus some new additions such as Austin Butler and Florence Pugh. Kung Fu Panda 4 is set to release on March 8th, returning to the role as Poe the Panda. Jack Black must teach a fox, voiced by Awkwafina, how to be the next Dragon Warrior. With all these new releases, you should have your hands full this spring break.
Last Saturday, the first, and hopefully not the last, edition of the Florida Man Games were held in St. Augustine, Florida. In this extreme sporting event, competitors dressed in tank tops and cutoff shorts and competed in games related to being a true Florida man. Some of the events that were held included dueling in muddy water, riding a bike while pretending to steal something, and running away from actual sheriff deputies. The event was a massive hit across the town with over 5,000 spectators drinking beer and watching the Florida men fight it out. Organizer Pete Melfi was lucky to even get the games approved, but now he should be hopeful for the Florida Man Games to become an annual event.
Students are finally able to replace their exams with excitement as Xavier officially begins spring break on Monday. For students staying on or around campus, check out these fun events. You can begin break early on March 2nd by unwinding with Goat Yoga at Rosedale OTR for $25 and finish the day off with a walkthrough at Findlay Market. If you want to test your luck, you can come on down to The Price is Right live at the Aronoff Center for the Arts on March 5th. Before heading back into the rush of spring semester, as break comes to a close, get yourself a spot of afternoon tea at the Taft Museum of Art and indulge in some beautiful art, sweet treats, and tea. Afternoon tea not for you? Then stop on by the late night snack comedy show at Clifton Comedy Theater for some laughs. As always, be safe and enjoy your break. You've earned it.
That's all from the news desk.
We'll be right back with the weekend weather report.
Hello, my name is Owen Gorsuch, and this is your weekend weather report. Later today, it'll be a high of 47 and a low of 28. Tomorrow, it'll be cloudy with a high of 57 and a low of 42. And over on Sunday, it'll be partly cloudy with a high of 68 and a low of 42. This has been your Xavier Weekend Weather Report. Now it's over to Drew with sports.
everybody, my name is Drew Collins, and you're watching the Sports Report. In professional sports news, the Cincinnati Bengals have franchise tag T. Higgins. But this only has increased the conversation of trade talks. The NFL draft is just around the corner, and there are plenty of question marks for the Bengals this offseason. And spring training continues as the Cincinnati Reds flash their young, talented team, creating plenty of buzz around the city. And FC Cincinnati drew 0-0 in their season opener against Toronto. A disappointing season opener, but they get the chance to redeem themselves with their home opener tomorrow night against the Chicago Fire. And now to Xavier Sports, the Xavier baseball team showcased the comeback of the century. They fell behind Cincinnati 8-3 through 6 innings, but the boys rallied with 3 home runs and finished with a total of 8 runs in the 7th. They finished with a final score of 11-9 to beat Cincinnati for the first time in over a year. They traveled to Fort Myers to face the Florida Gulf Coast Eagles this weekend. And to the men's basketball team, they got blown out by Marquette earlier in the week, but bounced back against DePaul. They face Georgetown tomorrow at 7:30. The swim team competes in the Big East Championship this weekend. And last but not least, the women's tennis team travels to Cleveland State. Well, that is a wrap on the Sports Report this week. Go X!